Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Daily Dose. Happy birthday to you. That's right. It's been 1 year. Oh, I hope we don't have fire alarms in the offices that pick up smoke. It has been 1 year since our first Daily Dose. And I want to start two things. One, thank each and every one of you for clicking on and how you're watching and how you're following. It amazes our entire team, the stories we hear. From both here in North County and national and internationally, the people that are following the Daily Dose. And how much encouragement it has brought to each of you. And then secondly, let me encourage you why, even though I know I'm talking to the choir on this, it is so important. A year into it, I hope you can look back and go, wow, this has helped a lot. A year into your spiritual growth, at least Daily Dose-wise since we started, I hope you can look in the rearview mirror and go, wow, if the same amount of growth that happened this last year happens next year, would you be happy with that? You see, so many times, I grew up with Christianity being seen out in the windshield. People would talk to me about Jesus and Paul and Peter and Moses and Abraham and Sarah and Rachel, and you would have these incredible heroes, and I would sit there and go, I'm not that, I'm not that, man, I'm so far from whatever spiritual greatness is. It was almost unobtainable. You take the most amazing Christians in history, and those are the examples, and I would sit there and go, that's not me. No one ever told me, look in my rearview mirror. Are you growing spiritually? Honestly. From this 1 year anniversary of the Daily Dose, can you look back a year on your spiritual journey and can you see there's been growth? Is your relationship with God deeper? Is there a better understanding? Is your view of life more eternal? Is there more of the Spirit in your life? More joy, more contentment, more peace, more understanding, more love for others? That's how you know if you're growing spiritually. And if you can look back a year and go, you know what, there has been growth. Would you be happy with that same amount of growth this next year? If you would, let me just encourage you, keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing. And if you're sitting there going, I don't know about growth spiritually or where I've been, let me encourage you, start applying some discipline to your life spiritually. Let me read you this. The book of Hebrews is warning Christians about not falling away, about not losing the faith. And then the end of Hebrews 5, verse 11 says this. It's pretty cool. We have much to say about this, but it's hard to make it clear to you because you are no longer trying to understand. In fact, though by this time you ought to be teachers, you need someone to teach you the elementary truths of God's Word all over again. You need milk, not solid food. Anyone who lives on milk, being still an infant, is not acquainted with the teaching about righteousness. But solid food is for the mature, who by constant use have trained themselves to distinguish good from evil. Did you get that? The leaders, the early church, first century says this. You know what? Spiritual growth doesn't just happen. Just because you've been a Christian for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, doesn't mean you've grown spiritually. He's writing to a group of people saying you should be mature, you should be teaching others, but like an infant, you still need milk. Spiritually, you can't chew up anything of meat, of real nourishment. Two reasons why. Because it's hard to make it clear to you, because you no longer try to understand, and secondly, you haven't trained yourself to distinguish good from evil by constant use. For those of you that have journeyed with us for a year, thanks. Thanks for taking every weekday. Thanks for taking little devos. Thanks for applying them. Hopefully you're praying after each one saying, God, help me with this. Help me to see how to apply this today to my life. Thanks for having another spiritual tool, just another daily dose. A little diet pill spiritually, if you will, to help you grow stronger in Christ. Thanks for taking the time just to take a few moments out of your day that you're doing right now and just give it to God. And say, man, every one of these little doses just helps me get better and better and better. Spiritual growth, spiritual maturity does not necessarily happen over time. It happens to those who apply themselves to understand more. And it happens for those who by constant use train themselves to distinguish God's truth from evil. It's been a year. Thanks for journeying with us. We love the stories. Keep listening, but more importantly, keep praying, how do I apply this to my life? So that a year from now, you can look back and go, man, what a year. So if you're one of those at the beginning and said, I don't know if I've grown this last year, start today. Like any diet, like any fitness plan, start today. So when we blow out the second candle, you can go, man, look where I am.